I'm Julie Holland.
And I'm Nick Spacek.
We're the hosts of The Carnage Report, a horror news podcast, part of the Cinepunks podcast network.
Every other Thursday, we bring you the latest news you can use on horror movies, casting, production, re-releases, trailers, and more.
We also do a deep dive into a movie new to streaming or theaters, giving you our thoughts and opinions on whether you should check it out.
Toss in recommendations for similar movies and a whole lot of commentary, and it's all the horror news you can use.
The Carnage Report is on Twitter and Instagram at Report Carnage.
Find us at cinepunks.com, that's CINEPUNX, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, folks. My name is Owen Brand.
And I'm Katie Cadaver.
And we are co-hosts of the VHS Vault podcast, where old is new and cringe is king. We are a podcast dedicated to bringing you old and obscure movies from deep in the vault.
That's right. You can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and on Planet Rage Radio Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central on the Live 365 app. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And email us at vhsvaultpodcast@gmail.com.
The Shameless Picture Show is part of the Cinepunks Network. If you like the Shameless Picture Show and you want to hear other great shows like it, make sure you check out the Cinepunks Network. You can find them at www.cinepunks.com. That's CINEPUNX. There's other great shows such as Cinepunks. There's The Carnage Report, Cinema Smorgasbord, Fat Girl Hacks, Loud, Fast, Philly, Tomb of Ideas, and Twitch of the Death Nerve, and so much more. If you like punk rock and you like movies, make sure to go to www.cinepunks.com. And let's not forget the sponsors for the Cinepunks Network. We have the Lehigh Valley Apparel Creations. They are the premier screen printer of the Lehigh Valley with service to the whole country, professional and personable in a way that only a DIY business can be. They also have ridiculously low prices for whatever your screen printing needs may be. You can visit them online at xlvacx.com. That's xlvacx.com. Lehigh Valley Apparel Creations. We also have the Essex Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted to order. They have high quality beans, bunch of apparel, and tea available. They are bringing high quality coffee to the masses without the pretentiousness. Use the code CINEPUNKS for 10% off your first order. You can visit them at www.essexcoffeeroasters.com. That's ESSEX, coffeeroasters.com. Once again, use the code CINEPUNKS for 10% off your first order. Big shout out to the band Crossed Keys for lending us that awesome fucking music during our little ad. That song is called Who We Never Were. You can buy that single currently off of Bandcamp. The band is called Crossed Keys. It will be on their full-length album, Believes in You. That song was lent to me by Crossed Keys, specifically, I don't know if he goes by Joey Angel or goes by Joshua Alvarez, but I met him as Joshua Alvarez. He's the co-host of Cinepunks, our fucking network, and I told him, I love this song, I want to use it, so that way people don't have to just listen to me talk, and he said, fuck yeah. So please, if you like the song is called Who We Never Were. You can get that on Bandcamp currently. It's off of their album Believes in You. You can get the 10 song LP is out May 5th, Friday, May 5th. You can actually order it on vinyl right now. So go show them some love. Hey, do you like weird movies? You do? Have you heard of Vinegar Syndrome? Find them online at www.vinegarsyndrome.com. Vinegar Syndrome is one of the leading exploitation and grindhouse preservation and distribution companies in the world. They've got a simple 3-step process that I call the 3 R's: recover, restore, and release. Vinegar Syndrome has an amazingly large film archive consisting of thousands of 35 and 16mm negatives and prints, and are actively finding films that are underappreciated, undervalued, and underseen. So many of their releases have never seen the light of day since VHS, and they're restoring them to all their glory. Some of these films do not have the right to look as good as they do, but they do. I'm looking at you, corpse grinders.
I can
Vinegar Syndrome has their own method of restoration where their goal is to recreate the theatrical experience as best as they can. With their own in-house lab, they scan, color grade, and restored each title personally. You'll never see any grain reduction and digital trickery on their discs. Vinegar Syndrome is a very exciting label, and we're proud to have them as a sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning, and we love them for it. Check out their website today and pick up your copies of Rudy Ray Moore's Dolomite films, just in time for the new Netflix movie Dolomite Is My Name, starring Eddie Murphy. Also available is Hell Comes to Frogtown, starring Rowdy Piper, James Hong's The Vineyard, Pledge Night, Lust in the Dust, starring Divine, Putney Swope, the Amityville Cursed Collection, and much, much more. Also, don't forget to pre-order your copy of Tammy and the T-Rex in glorious 4K Ultra High Definition or Blu-ray, and the Angel Collection. Once again, be sure to visit them at www.vinegarsyndrome.com and grab yourself something cool. Let them know your good friend Michael sent you. Hey guys, Michael here from the Shameless Picture Show. I'm just here to do a little intro. I don't do these super often unless the topic that we are discussing on the film is incredibly difficult in terms of some of its themes. So as you can probably see from the episode title, that I am being joined by Eric Arsnow and my friend Josephine Maria Yanasak-Leszczynski, and we are talking about Andrzej Żuławski's Possession. This is a transgressive film. It can be quite difficult if you go into this movie not knowing much about it. I hope most of you who are listening to this episode do in fact know what this movie is about or have seen it. But if you are like some listeners do, where they listen to the episode first, there are some difficult themes being discussed in this film, such as self-harm, suicide, harm to children, failing relationships, and also cruel treatment of actors on film sets. So I did want to give you guys just a little warning, and I hope you enjoyed the episode because this was a fantastic talk. Thanks very much.
This movie podcast actually discusses movies. Be aware that it may discuss any of the following elements: endings, surprise twists, unexpected cameos, and all manner of spoilers. If this doesn't appeal to you, why listen to a movie podcast? Without further ado, please enjoy our feature presentation, The Shameless Picture Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Shameless Picture Show. On today's episode, I am joined by two very special guests. First off, appearing on her 7th episode of The Shameless Picture Show, we have my friend, collaborator, and go-to for weird movies, Josephine Maria Yanasak-Leszczynski.
Good job.
My mouth always wants to roll Yanasak and Leszczynski into one word, and then I have to stop myself because
that's how my family pronounces it. Yanasak-Leszczynski, like it's one.
But
I'm the only one. So.
I'm afraid if I do that, I'm gonna butcher it all because I'm not giving myself a chance to breathe.
Yeah, you might pass out.
Josephine, for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, honestly, you've done a little bit of everything. You've done panels with me. You've written short stories. You've written books. You've done film criticism. But most recently, you have a chapter in a book called Refocus: The Films of Susan Seidelman, which was edited by our mutual friend Susan Kearns.
Yes.
And you also have a short story in the anthology Demons and Death Drops.
I do. Thank you. No one makes me sound as cool as you do, Mike.
Well, tell us a little bit about that before I introduce our other guest.
Sure. So Demons and Death Drops is a queer performance anthology. So the pitch was primarily about drag performances, which are at the center of a lot of political conversation right now, and a huge center of gay culture. I wrote about BDSM and revenge porn.
Whoa.
And that's all I can really say about it because it hasn't come out yet. But this is a story that a lot of people, when I was submitting it, they held on to it. And then they were like, we can't publish this because XYZ. And it was usually like, it's too messed up. It's like, Just doesn't quite fit with the rest of the anthology. It's a little too weird. Like, it's really well written is what I always hear, but this was a little too weird. And finally somebody wanted it, and the editor is like very excited about it. So that feels really good. So thank you.
I feel like if you're going to get turned down, being told that it's too weird is kind of a cool one.
You know, it feels cool the first time, but this is like the 6th story that like people, what I always hear from people is, you're a really good writer. And that's like the end of, they're like, but, and then there's like, it's too weird, we can't sell this, blah, blah. And I don't believe that. Like, somebody wants to read these stories, but finally one editor gave me a chance. So here we go.
I feel like being told you're a really good writer is kind of like the equivalent of, I made a film one time, and the best thing someone could tell me was they liked the costumes.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, I can put words together. Like, that's a skill I have. The end. Like, that's the beginning.
Demons and Death Drops has not come out yet. When does it come
out? Soon. I think beginning of next year. I don't really remember. I should know, but I don't.
And then Refocus, the films of Susan Seidelman, is currently available for. Is it still pre-order, or can you actually get it now?
I believe you can get it now. It'll have to ship from either their warehouse in the United States or in the UK, but it is available to you.
So
the
if anyone out there wants to read more about the films of Susan Seidelman, which everyone listening should, or read queer horror, you know where to go.
Heck yes.
But it's not the only guest we have today. Appearing on his 2nd episode, we have Eric Arsnow, who is a video editor, animator, and musician working out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Eric operates the post-production company Funland Studios, but he's also a pretty prolific local musician as he plays in bands such as Devil's Tooth and Fight Dice. And I feel like you have a couple other ones too, but those are the 2 I remember.
Yeah, those are the 2 main ones for sure.
And then you also had a solo project come out like in 2021, didn't you?
Yeah, and actually I'm working on another one right now. They'll probably be out next year sometime. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. What kind of music is it like? If you had to describe it.
Yeah, so
I'm making you guys all talk about yourselves.
Yeah. I've got like a couple. Like it's hard to write with music. I always try to like get in a mindset of like what kind of band it would be, even though I'm by myself. So this one that I'm currently writing for is going to be kind of like more of a shoegaze, kind of psych rock album. And then I just was working on something that's going to be a little bit more new wave too. That's kind of like in the early stages. So it's fun. I love hanging out here in my basement recording stuff. So
I feel like that's the biggest thing I have learned in my time of trying different arts. You got to find something you don't mind doing for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Especially by yourself, because like Eric, you know this. Filmmaking is such a collaborative effort. While you can do it on your own, there's been a lot of prolific filmmakers who have made quite a career just making. Like Sadie Benning used to make movies just in her bedroom. It's primarily a pretty collaborative thing, so it's kind of fun when you can have some sort of art form or a form of self-expression that you can just do by yourself in a room. That's why this podcast exists.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's crazy too, like band-wise, Devil's Teeth and Fight Dice are both going to have probably records out next year too. I know Devil's Teeth for sure. We recorded 2 in Detroit a couple of years ago, so it's just going to be like a really huge music year for me for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
Exciting.
This question just came to me, but Eric, you might be able to. Have you ever had to open for yourself?
Yes.
Have you ever been twice on a show?
Actually, I just did that recently, and it was I did that more in high school. Like, it was okay back then, but like, I don't know, recently it was just like, that's probably way too much. I'm getting too old to be doing that sort of thing.
Psyching yourself up for 2 performances.
Yeah.
Do you ever like forget what you're playing and almost start going into something else? Or is it so muscle memory now at this point?
Yeah, it's probably more the muscle memory end of things. So, and I mean, thankfully, both those bands are like 2 totally different styles of music, so kind of helps separate it too.
I only thought of it because I just recently went to go see Gwar, and they had another band that opened for them that was just them out of makeup.
Oh, sure. Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And that's actually how Gwar started. Gwar was the opening band for their original band, like Death Piggy. But no one wanted to open for them, so they just made their own band. And then Gwar became more popular. So they just ran with it. And I kind of appreciate that they still do that. That they just open for themselves, even though they don't have to at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where do you get the energy?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and I totally respect that for sure, because it's, yeah.
I got tired just being at the show. I was like, can we wrap this up? I want to go home and have some cocoa. I just lost any credibility I had.
You know, I make cocoa all the time. Don't worry about it.
I know you do.
Or you meant leaving Guar to have cocoa? Because that's
leaving Guar to have. It was more so. It's like, can we cut off one of
lovely.
these openers so we can get to Guar sooner? There doesn't need to be 4 openers. But anyways, I should ask you guys before we talk about the movie. How are you both doing today?
Dead stare.
Yeah.
Dead stare into the camera.
That, I think, that's
both
perfect
of
answer.
us were like,
Yeah.
I'm actually having a good day, but it's up and down, as you know, Mike. Like, it's been kind of an up and down day, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Things are up and down. It's mostly very exciting, but I don't know. I've been writing professionally for 15 years, and it feels like every small setback is like I haven't broken, like I haven't made it, whatever that means, and so anytime there's a small setback, I'm like, oh, I should just quit. Like, this sucks, and then I'll have something really to celebrate, but then there'll be a small setback in there, and I'm like, oop, nope, can't celebrate, didn't make it, failed. So we'll get there. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty okay day. I've been doing a lot of client work today, and yeah, things just always changing with that, especially video and animation. So I was doing a bunch of revisions on stuff today, and it being the most fall wet day out, it's just kind of one of those days where I'd rather just be curled up and watching movies or something instead of doing work. So,
Totally.
yeah.
Honestly, that's the only benefit really to it getting dark earlier is I just want to start watching movies even earlier.
Yeah.
Because during the summer when it gets dark and it's so late, it's I don't want to watch a movie when the sun's still up. I could be doing something.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
nice.
But I'm glad to hear both of you guys are doing well today.
Yeah, thank you.
It's always weird trying to juggle 2 different guests and keep the pleasantries going amongst 2 people. But I
Would
do
you rather that we fight? Because I can start a fight. Let's go.
Well, I guess we'll see what
ready.
you both end up thinking about the movie. Then we can kind of figure it out from there.
I have a feeling we both like it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you both being on this. And by the time this comes out, it'll actually be one of our December episodes, which is funny because I really thought this was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Because you hadn't seen it, or because you just had a feeling about it?
I just had I knew the visuals of the movie. I just knew
that's
some
funny.
of the visuals of the movie, and just with its colder, bluer tone, I think my brain just added snow.
No, that's just Germany, Mike. That's what it looks like. It does look like Christmas all the time, to be fair, in Germany. That's where Christmas is from, basically. So
That's true. That's true. So this will feel appropriate, and just let that sink in. That the way this episodes are going to be going, we'll have an episode that me and Eric just did, or we did a while ago, but it's not going to get released until later on Sunset Boulevard. So we're going to go from that to Possession to a
Same
Very
movie.
Brady Christmas.
Nice. That's a good transition.
That's how we're ending this season. But I feel like this is perfect. Let's just get into the movie. On today's episode of the Shameless Picture Show, I'll be crossing a doozy off my own personal shame list. Josephine, you've been correcting me a lot on pronunciation. Anything I need to know about pronouncing this guy's first name? I've just been saying I've been saying Andre because I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you nailed it. You
Nailed
nailed
it.
Okay, all right. Because
That's not the hard part.
No, but you got me second guessing myself because I was not expecting a J and a Z to both be in Andre.
No one expects the J and the Z as someone with both. I am waiting for me to correct everyone, and then some real Polish person to write into the podcast and be actually, you're an idiot, and this is how you pronounce it.
If
so
anyone
we'll
wants to see how
up.
bad I am at Polish pronunciations, go back to seasons ago when I just by myself in my bedroom was talking about the lure for about 15 minutes. And
How did you pronounce her name?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was terrible.
Do you know how to pronounce it now?
No.
Agnieszka Smolczynska.
Yeah, it wasn't that nice.
Right. Continue.
But
Sorry, continue.
Today, well, I
excited.
derailed myself. Today, we'll be talking about Andrzej Żuławski's Possession.
Żuławski. Yeah.
I'm as close as I'm gonna get. Mark is a spy returning to his home in West Berlin after an espionage mission, but life at home isn't happy as Mark finds out his wife wants a divorce. Mark is convinced she's met someone else and decides he doesn't want anything to do with her or their son Bob anymore. However, after a drunken bender, Mark returns home to find Bob has been left alone and realizes he wants to be a bigger part of their son's life. Mark misses Anna, but struggles with her infidelity and meeting her lover Heinrich. If this all sounds pretty run-of-the-mill relationship drama, trust me, it gets even more strange. We've not even gotten to lacerations with cooking utensils, dismembered body, doppelgangers, explosions, or a tentacle creature oozing its way through the shadowy depths of Anna's apartment. Possession is an angry film, and it's been well documented that Żuławski wrote the film during a state of deep depression from his wife with Polish actor Małgorzata Braunek.
Małgorzata. Yeah.
I wasn't too far off.
Right.
The film is notorious for its production, where both Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani have stated that there have been both physical and emotional abuse on set, and that got them to the point of nearly breaking. The pain we see on screen is real, and these actors are channeling it in the only way they know how. Possession premiered at the 34th Cannes Film Festival, where Adjani took home the award for Best Actress, and she was also nominated for the film Quartet. And it had a limited release in France and the UK, where it was put on the Video Nasties list. It had also been released in the United States, but the film was butchered down and lost nearly a third of its runtime. The film was notoriously hard to see until recent years, but has taken on a cult status for its incredibly raw performances, erratic cinematography, visceral effects, and unsettling tone. The film stars Sam Neill, Isabelle Adjani, Margit Karstensen, and Heinz Bennett. Written and directed by Andrzej Żuławski from 1981, this is Possession.
I've completed my job.
That's why we want to rehire you.
It's out of the question.
And what would be the reason for your refusal?
Family.
Maybe all couples go through this.
You have someone.
Yes,
Do you sleep with him?
yes.
How long is it gonna last?
I don't know.
When I'm away from you, I think of you as an animal or a woman possessed, and then I see you again, and all this disappears. You know, love isn't something you can just switch from channel to channel. Who is he?
Do you believe in God? Is he there?
Nice.
That was good.
Yeah.
I could have just listened to more of that. I was like, describe more.
I realized this was an incredibly weird film to write a description for, because on the surface you just it's
it's a marriage drama.
it's
a
marriage story. It's marriage story with tentacles, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's very much one thing until it's not, is kind of how I felt about it. But I'm the only one in this group who hasn't seen the movie, so I will talk about my very brief history in just a minute. But I want to ask both of you what your history with this movie is and when you first saw it. I'm just gonna.
Eric.
Yeah, let's start with Eric.
I'm in charge. Eric.
Okay. I was actually lucky to see it quite a while ago, because it's weird. It did come out on an Anchor Bay DVD. It was like a dual release with Hellgate, I want to say.
Ooh, that sounds correct. Also, killer, double feature.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, that was my first time seeing it. And I do believe that was the uncut version too, which is kind of super lucky. And I don't know, every once in a while I'll watch a film and just completely get engrossed in how it's unraveling. I think Lost Highway was a really good example for me growing up in the middle of nowhere, not having a lot of exposure to art house cinema. So I was just really taken aback with like where this thing went. Sam Neill is always a favorite of mine, so like seeing him do just this absolutely crazy role was awesome. And then Adjani was like even more incredible and unhinged. I mean, the sidebars, unfortunately, hearing about their post-traumatic experiences afterwards, but what was captured is just absolutely insane. Like you feel the film quite a bit. So, but yeah, that's me. I'll wrap up there.
Excellent. That's good.
All right. How about you, Josephine?
I had heard. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I saw this movie really late. I saw Żuławski's other movies earlier. The Devil is one that I'd like to talk about on this podcast at some point, because this film actually reshoots a bunch of scenes from The Devil.
All right, next season you got it.
Well, I just want to talk like briefly about it here. We don't need to like get into that. The Devil's actually a very difficult film to see. It's hard to find, but anyway, I'm into Polish cinema. I'd never seen Possession, and part of it was that tentacle creature. I really, I love monster fucking, but tentacles are such like a messy, a poorly used sexual trope that could be really amazing. And I think this film kind of nails it. But I like stayed away from this movie for a long time because I was like, I don't know if I want to see something I would like to unsee. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I actually saw this at the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago. They had a double feature with the original Suspiria.
Oh, cool.
And drag performances, like introducing each.
That's wild.
That's a dense night, but the drag performance is probably,
it was incredible. It was a Halloween night thing, too. So, like, everyone showed up in costume. And one of the performers for the Suspiria section came out on like it was for the Possession one. She came out on a cherry picker, like one of those big, like, machines that take you really high up and take you down. So somebody, like, drove her forward and then, like, lowered her down, and then she, like, came off of this thing. It was incredible. And then they played the film. So, it was just, so that was, like, an incredible experience. And this movie, yeah, it's fascinating. It's really well done. Seeing it, I knew that he had taken a bunch from The Devil, which is interesting because there's some other subtext there. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. So thanks for giving me the opportunity, and thanks for inviting me, Mike. I love Polish film, and like, I'm ready.
Yeah, like,
not to jump into it so quickly, but the subtext, are you kind of referring to some of the way he was treated as a filmmaker? Or not necessarily? Because I know The Devil is the one that kind of like ostracized him a little bit, right?
Oh, The Devil is the first one that ostracized him. So here, can I give a little Żuławski?
Yeah.
Can I give just like really quick? So this film, you talked about, he was really depressed when he was making it because he was divorcing his Braunek, his the only one woman who he like legally married. So she is one of the stars of The Devil.
Okay.
And the Adjani scene where she is like freaking out in the tunnel is almost shot for shot, even though Adjani is bringing her own thing to it, a scene from The Devil that Braunek acts in.
Oh,
like
wow.
You can find shot comparisons online. So like that film is very important, but The Devil is the film that got him kicked out of Poland the first time.
Yeah.
But he went to France where you can do almost anything. And he created a film about love that was very successful. And Poland was like, come back, because Poland actually really wants a film culture, but really struggles with it because historically, not even just under communist governments, like Poland in general is just very kind of repressed when it comes to art and cinema. It's very difficult to get things made and like not censored. So they were like, come back. And he started making this science fiction epic.
Silver Globe.
Thank you, Eric. And that film ran over budget. They ordered him to destroy all of the film, all the celluloid, and it wasn't destroyed. People saved it, but like actors had to like hide it in their houses. And it like a cut of it exists, but like parts are missing, and it's not what he wanted. And he got kicked out a second time, and then he made this movie. So it's like, while he was in France, and he actually filmed it in West Berlin because it was the closest he could get to Poland without going into Poland, and also just visually it's very similar because Poland and Germany have a very similar like architectural history.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So really the movie's about breaking up with Poland. It's not just about the end of his marriage, his depression. It's about breaking up with Poland, and how like traumatic that was for him.
And I think, if I remember correctly, the Silver Globe was technically unfinished, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, for any movie nerds out there, I can't remember who just put it out, but, like, it's technically, like, considered there's, like, a trilogy, right? Like, it's The Devil.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other film, but then...
Third Part of the Night.
Yep, and then Silver Globe. So that did just come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because I've never seen them, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Please, I mean, The Devil's really good. The Devil's really fucked up. Like, this movie's like fucked up, but The Devil's like family members fucking each other on screen, like the whole movie, like just to put that out there. So like, you know, Polish cinema, love it. So I'm like giving a thumbs up to the camera. Polish cinema. Third Part of the Night is a really dark movie. I think it deals directly with Poland's, history of war. But I love it because Braunek is also in it. She's in a lot of his movies before they get divorced. There's a scene in the beginning, not to ruin anything, but like she's about to give birth and like this soldier walks in and he's like, "Ooh, whoa," and tries to like back out. And she's like, "Get the fuck in here. You're helping me give birth. Get some towels." Like it just happens. Like she's like, "No, you're helping. You walked in here. Absolutely not." And then she makes him help. And that's like the most Polish shit ever. Like I love that. So that's a good movie too.
Cool.
I haven't seen Silver Globe actually. I've seen parts of it, but
yeah, I think I saw like a trailer online a little bit ago. Because he had a company, it was like Mondovision, that was helping release a lot of this. But I want to say somebody else released those three for some reason. So
I mean, he died in 2016, and his estate was like really because he wasn't legally married to the person he was in a relationship with for 16 years.
Okay.
So like him and Braunek have a son, Xavier, and it just gets messy with Xavier is still in Poland. He was living in France, like, you know.
Sure.
Interesting. And like one of the reasons I wanted to do this movie is because this is one that has been on my radar for a very long time, probably close to maybe 8 years or so. And it's like I had said in my intro, it was notoriously hard to find for a while, and even when Mondovision did bring it out, it was a very limited run.
Yeah.
And it was, if you missed out on it, you missed it. And I remember theirs was interesting too, because I think they even had a copy of the American cut on there, which just out of pure curiosity, I want to see. But I'd first heard about this film years ago because of a podcast. There's actually a podcast by the name of Elric Kane. He hosts a show called the Pure Cinema Podcast, and he's quoted as being his favorite movie forever. And I think so much so that he said he was so obsessed with it that there was a period of time when Facebook first came around, he created like the first like Żuławski fan page. Love and that. Was running it, and to the point where people thought it was him. So they were like asking him filmmaking questions. He's like, "Oh, I'm not this guy. I'm just running the fan page for him." So I think what had attracted me to it was just hearing the way that people talked about it, you know, because I remember he had described it as being a movie that he said even if you remove all the horror elements, it would still be a great movie. In terms of and that always stuck with me, because that's always something I look for in a horror movie is it still a good movie even if you take all the horror elements out? Are we telling a good story? Are we telling a story that people might want to watch?
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. And then because anytime he talked about it, he kept it very vague to not give too much away. And with a title like Possession, here I was thinking it was going to be like a possession movie.
Sure.
And
totally.
And then just seeing that poster, and I absolutely love that the poster, at least that I know, the one with I think it's supposed to be Isabelle Adjani's back, and it, you know, I love that there's a little heart above the eye in Possession. I don't know, just that little detail amuses the shit out of me. So
it's so Polish. It's such a like a kitschy, like very 80s, poster. Oh, I also want to say Braunek. Sorry, Braunek left Żuławski for a movie poster artist, a very famous movie poster artist. So like, his name was also Andrzej. So that's really funny.
I mean,
little drama.
That's okay, I guess though, because like Polish movie posters are the best. So
they rule.
Yeah,
I know.
They're awesome.
I know. I mean, so you get it, right? Like, you're like, that makes sense. Like, you didn't stand a chance, dude. Like,
you may be making the movies, but this guy is selling your movie.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a happier tune too. I mean, Andre, you're pretty depressed most of the time.
Sounds like he was kind of a jerk. Yeah. Sounds like Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani said.
I'm not surprised, and actually, I think Sam Neill has said, like, he's talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
He has said that there's stories that he doesn't feel comfortable telling while some people are still alive.
Yeah.
Well, and he also was really embarrassed about having to hit Adjani in this film too, like for real. And I guess she was like, "Bring it on." It's kind of crazy because I mean, it sounds like to an extent she knew a little bit of what she was getting into and kind of like accepted that, but then it even just kind of like got worse as it went along.
Yeah, she was a breakout star at that point, and she actually signed on because Sam Neill wasn't sure he wanted to, so she really wanted to work with Sam Neill. Cool. Żuławski's team presented this film to Isabelle Adjani's team, and they were like, no, she was about to make it, so they were like, no, this is not the movie that we want her to, like, the next thing that she's gonna do.
Yeah.
And then so he offered it to a different person and brought on Sam Neill, and Sam Neill was like, I don't know if I want to commit to this, and Isabelle Adjani was like, oh, he's not sure, I'll replace this other person you got, let's do it. And then she signed on. I will say, the stories I've heard, I mean, Isabelle Adjani, her career has been like so challenging. I mean, she's such an incredible actress, and brings such depth to every role and such intensity. It's not even necessarily depth, it's like just such intensity. But she was fairly young. Like, as much as she was like bring it on and ready for it, and she's very much like an artist as far as an actor, like she's ready to take on these extreme roles. I do wonder, like, whether she didn't have people who were like, hey, you don't have to do this, it's not in the script, or whatever. Like, her agent should have maybe stepped in a little more. In this film, it was a
different time for sure.
It was a different time, and it got banned fairly significantly. And while they won awards and she won an award, this isn't the film that like made her. It made her in genre in some ways, but like she didn't have to do all of that, to like be where she ended up. So
I was reading that she like wanted to do it because she also knew that she wasn't going to be acting after this for a while. For like parental reasons and things like that, where she was like, I just want to throw myself completely into this project, and then I'm stepping away for a while.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because of how hard the film was to see for the longest time. Like, if you go back and look at certain interviews of Sam Neill during different parts of his career, he kind of treats this movie as being a lost film in some ways. So it's interesting too that they. You never know what's going to happen with a movie after it's made.
Right.
It's kind of the relationship that both actors had with making this film very much sounds like that of an abusive relationship, where they're doing things they might not have done in other circumstances because they are kind of swept up in the, I don't know the right word, like the romance of making a film or whatever you want to do. They're just so in it that they're not questioning some things that they probably should. And it's like, I think, content warning for anyone listening. I think I even read that Isabelle Adjani tried to commit suicide shortly after making this movie as well.
That's a rumor, and Żuławski...
Is it a rumor? Okay.
Well, Żuławski confirmed it, but he confirmed it. She never did. So, like, Żuławski, like, he wanted a re-release, like, that's part of the legend of this film. So, like, I'm not saying it didn't happen, or could have been some self-harm. I don't know, because there's reports of that as well. But, like, I would take that, I don't know, with a grain of salt. I mean, it was a very affecting film that did not feel good for its actors. Like, that's a safe statement, I think.
Yeah.
But everything else is conjecture at this point.
Yeah, I've not been able to find like how Adjani felt about, like, looking back, how she feels about the movie. You know, I found some articles with Sam Neill talking about it, and
I mean, Adjani, so much happened to her afterwards. I mean, a decade later was the AIDS scandal with her. Like, she a newspaper reported that she had AIDS when she did not, and like as this sort of anti-AIDS like campaign, AIDS being a stand-in for like anything queer or whatever. So it's, her career has been so full of like ups and downs and like scandals and difficulties that I'm not surprised that this would be like either something she didn't want to talk about or not even like register on her, like, you know, within the breadth of her career.
Yeah, she's done so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the fact that there's just been this rediscovery on this, and one of the, so kind of skipping all over the place, you know, there's that really famous scene of her in the subway halls. I don't know what to call it. Like,
I think it's a subway tunnel. Yeah,
in the subway tunnels, and that just truly like full body performance. And so before I even saw this movie, like I said, I knew the broad strokes of what it was about. But I remember there was a thing going around on the internet for a while where it had that clip of that scene, and it was like, you know, the worst performance ever put on screen. And it was just that scene out of context. And even without having seen the movie or knowing anything about it, it just truly infuriated me.
Oh, sure.
Because even though I hadn't seen the movie yet, I knew that, one, taking any performance out of context of what came before and what's going to come afterwards is a fool's errand anyways. But I remember just feeling really upset for Adjani and everything she went through for this role to just be relegated as a terrible performance from someone who probably hadn't even watched the movie and just heard about that clip and found it online. And that scene was just, even though I had seen that scene before, watching it with the context of the rest of the film, I was profoundly just struck with it.
It's really hypnotic, for sure.
Yeah, Eric, can you talk about your first time seeing like that scene in context? Because you talked about this was like, you know, not your super entry point into like art cinema, but definitely like a beginning point for you.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, like, narratively, this whole movie just keeps ramping up. That is like kind of like probably the biggest peak moment for me.
Crescendo, yeah.
Yeah, the crescendo of it all. But man, it's just wild. Like, you've never seen anything like that. Or I should say, rarely see anything like that. It's like, it's so transcendental, like both their performances in this film, where it just feels so real and genuine. And then kind of what you're saying, Michael, with like the whole, like, you know, her just use of the body and stuff. It's just, it was super intense. I don't know, like it sticks with you for sure.
Yeah, I always think of the milk, like that just really...
It's so gross and weird, and it takes things that are just kind of normal, like groceries and whatever, and it just makes it completely disgusting.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, totally. Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing this entire movie does really well, is it takes scenarios and situations and settings that we're all familiar with in some way or another and just makes it strange.
Commuting with your groceries,
yeah, like, or just, you know, the habitual state of their apartment, and just being in. Amanda was actually commenting on it, my wife Amanda, when we were watching it, that it actually kind of, the apartment made her uncomfortable, not because it was messy, but because it almost wasn't messy enough.
Yeah.
where she's like, it's very clearly a mess, but there aren't things in like piles in the corner and things that feel like a lived-in mess. It almost feels very orchestrated, and in a way that just kind of makes you feel uncomfortable. Like every moment in this film just kind of makes me feel uncomfortable, especially the way it uses settings. You know, whether it be a really small setting like their apartment that they share together, or near the beginning when Mark's being debriefed, and how large of a room that was with nothing in it, and just the way that it uses its locations, it just takes the ordinary and subverts it in a way that, I don't know, even before anything truly started happening, I just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. They do a really good job of shot framing in that regard too.
Yeah. This film was also shot by hand with Steadicam, which you can feel, but like insane to me. Like I can't imagine being those cameramen. Like in these like apartments and in that, I mean, that tunnel, like walking in front of Adjani, I would be like, I don't want to get hit with this milk. Can we pause? Like cut real quick.
Yeah.
Or there's just like little things, like there's that scene with Mark when he's just extremely rocking in the chair.
Oh yeah.
And the camera keeps rack focusing between him and her, and they never cut the camera, and they never lose their focus either. So even though the film feels chaotic, there's so much craft being put on this, or you know, just having made stuff myself. There's a lot in mind of, okay, you can't step here or else you're going to be out of your light, and you can't do this. So there's a lot of, sometimes actors can feel kind of restrained, and they never felt restrained in this movie. I remember there's specifically a shot that I've been thinking about since I saw it, of a 360 shot around Mark when the camera's just chaotically moving around him. And that's one thing about this movie. The camera never stops moving.
No.
The camera's just moving around him. And I've seen that shot before, but it's usually like the actor's static, but he's then turning the other direction while talking to someone on the phone. And the things both moving in two different directions. And the fact that they weren't cutting was just almost giving me a panic attack.
Yeah. Eric, can you talk about? I just want to change. I'm switching gears. I'm currently in charge of this podcast. Welcome to the Shameless Picture Show. Thanks for coming on as my guests.
All right, you guys let me know when you need me. I'll be over here.
Eric, can you? I know you said that in the beginning. You thought that we both probably liked this movie. Can you talk about what you liked about it, or what you like? If you liked it the first time you saw it, or if that was something that grew, or like what made this movie, aside from it just being like crazy, what made this movie stick with you?
I mean, there's a certain type of director I feel like that can pull something. It's magical, like what was pulled off here. Like I said, hypnotic is a word that comes to mind. I just love the narrative. I love the feeling of. It's very rooted in what it's trying to do. Feelings of like isolation, separation, confusion. I'm a big fan of like shot framing, so like even the way they blocked out the cafe scene where like Sam Neill is kind of learning more about what his wife has been up to. They're not even looking at each other. Where they're
sitting separately.
Yeah, it's like a triangle.
I've been thinking about that scene all day, Eric. Thank you. Keep talking.
Such a good scene. And then like it just goes off the rails too, where like Sam Neill actually physically starts throwing chairs and like the people in the restaurant tackle him. It's there's so much in this film. I think the thing that it's risky. That's what it is. It's risky, and there's a lot that filmmakers just wouldn't go there, And I think that's what I appreciate a lot about Andrzej's work in general. Is like it confronts you for sure. The narratives are very aggressive. I don't know. It's fascinating. So.
I love that it confronts you. That's such a good description, I think, of his work. All of it. Like, having seen more of it. Like, that's it. Like, I love that. Yeah, and that cafe scene, holy shit. I mean, like, the fact that they aren't sitting together was just perfect. The fact that they're both just sitting forward, staring off, and, like, not looking at anybody or each other. So uncomfortable, so recognizable, even though I've never had, like, a breakup conversation not looking at the, like,
Yeah,
sitting
it's
around a
definitely
corner from
staged,
someone.
but like
It's
staged in a cool way. Yeah.
Staged in a way that totally connects to how it feels to be in that conversation, right?
Yes.
Because you don't want to look them in the eye. You don't want to, you don't want to really confront them physically.
Yeah.
Like fantastic. God, yeah.
One thing that really threw me at that scene as well is, one, as soon as they sat down, my wife remarked, like, "Oh, this is how we're going to have this conversation," and I was like, "Yeah, of course." But one thing that I was just really taken aback by with that entire sequence is they sat down in like these two corner seats, and they have those two really large mirrors behind them.
Yeah,
and the perspective of those mirrors is fascinating because only once. And it was when the camera moved very far to the side of Sam Neill did I ever see their reflections in that mirror. And knowing that it's a mirror, because I'm seeing other things that are in the scene, like there's a woman having a coffee in the corner, and I can see her reflection. But not being able to see theirs made me very uncomfortable once again. And I've been thinking about if that was intentional or not.
It has to be with Żuławski, I would think. I mean, I know Eric was talking about before, like, the way every scene is framed. And, Mike, you were talking about, like, the size of the rooms and how they're being filmed within the rooms. I also just think that it's a really beautiful mechanic to have a mirrored wall. Number one, because it's super hard to film. Like, you don't catch the camera. I'm sure there are shots. I mean, this movie was very low budget. So I'm sure there are shots where, like... And it was shot in 16 weeks. So, like, we didn't talk about that. But part of the abuse and stuff is probably because they were like, we have to finish now.
Yeah.
But not only is it really difficult to film, but I love that you're focused on them. And you do see people, like, enter the frame from the cafe. But you couldn't tell that there were any other people in the cafe without those mirrors. Like, it really does fill out the scene without us being distracted by or focusing on those people, because you see them in the mirror and you're like, okay, that's just like, that's local color, right? That's like someone in the cafe. They're not totally alone. They're having this very awkward conversation in public, but we're not distracted by people next to them or something. And I think that was just a really beautiful way to fill out that setting without distracting from the central focal point.
One of the things I've been trying to put together, too, is with that scene, is I haven't quite figured out what I'm trying to say with this. I'm still working through it. But I do find it fascinating that in that scene, other than a couple of very brief moments, even though they're sitting right up against those mirrors, I can't see their reflection. And I feel it feels very poetic, considering how much of this film is about doppelgangers and not being able to see their own reflections and who they are in that moment versus who they become in the end of the film.
Yeah.
And I love, I think that this film is the most, so doppelgangers are something that come up all the time in Żuławski's film. I don't know. He feels like he has some sort of paranoid thing about, like, somebody not being who they, who you think they are, that there's a double out there of him. A doppelganger is obviously a very, like, Germanic, Slavic, like, creature. It's a very, like, an idea that's kind of indigenous to those regions. But not that it only exists there, but, like, it's a very powerful idea. And shows up in a lot of Slavic film and some German films, but it's a German word, but, a lot of mixing there. But I think that this film, he uses that motif the most. Not only because, like, every character ends up having a doppelganger, but also, yes, the mirrors. There are other the similarity between Heinrich and Sam Neill's roles, and then how they're both pushed out of Isabelle Adjani's life and Anna's life as she, like, falls more under the creature's spell or whatever, or puts more creation into the creature. I really think that this is, like, the most mature use of the doppelganger for Żuławski. And it does come out in every aspect of the movie, which is fascinating.
Would 800 a month for Bob be enough?
I suppose.
Will you move in with him or keep the apartment?
I'll keep it if you allow me to.
I've decided not to see Bob.
At all?
At all.
How can you say that?
He's gonna be fucked up enough as it is, and I don't want to fuck him up even more by playing Sunday daddy.
What were you to him anyway?
Precisely.
But he knows you. He's used. He needs you.
A real father, full time? Well, I thought I could be coming out from the wars, so to speak. You say it's better with him than with me.
I get more out of it.
Tell me.
I think what you want to do to Bob is...
Inhuman? So what you're doing must be human. How long is it gonna last?
I don't know.
1 week, 2 weeks? And how do you dispose of ideas like honesty and loyalty? If I could only believe that it happened cleanly at first sight.
Okay. If it makes things easier. I was in his bed the first night I met him, if you have to know.
What do you expect of me? Look what you're doing!
No one is good or bad, but if you want, I'm that one. And if I knew he existed in this world, I would have never had Bob with you.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Cry, woman! Stop!
So I have a question for you, Josephine. Mm-hmm. Would you say that Possession is one of his most popular films? Or most well-known?
I would say now it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably because it's the English-speaking one, too. It's
totally.
probably got a little bit more
in
legs.
and in the U.S. Yeah. I mean, he made the one... Eric, do you remember the one he made in France? Something about love?
Yeah,
love.
It's a long title, and that movie's so amazing, too. I really love it.
It is, but I think that was the reason they invited him back to Poland. That was the one that won all the awards. Like, I would say that's probably his most... it was his most popular, his most famous one. And then he started making these really weird, really difficult movies that were really popular with a subsection of people, but...
Yeah,
Yeah, what's the title?
Let's see here.
Most important thing?
Yeah.
The most important thing is love, yeah. Now say it in French.
Yeah, there's a... L'important c'est d'aimer.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. Language of romance.
Yeah, nailed it.
The reason I asked, though, so I feel like for a lot of people, especially in the United States, Possession is their entry into this filmmaker. How did it feel for you, kind of going backwards? Did it take away from what Possession is, or was it almost like this is the piece of the puzzle that I was missing? Kind of walk me through what it was like for you, because you came at it a very different way than me and Eric did.
Yeah, I mean, so Żuławski, I've seen his movies. I'm not like a Żuławski fan. Not that I dislike his movies, but I wasn't someone who was like, oh shit, I gotta watch every Żuławski movie. I gotta make sure I see this. He's not my Wong Kar-wai, right? I'm not hunting down Żuławski films. He's just a very important Polish filmmaker. This movie for me, his movies are so Polish and so much about Poland. I mean, they're all the ones that I've seen. I actually haven't seen any of his French language ones. Sorry, Żuławski. Or not all of them. I've seen parts, but he, it being English really threw me for a loop, and it starring Sam Neill, which I somehow didn't know. I really just walked into it, was Isabelle Adjani, I'm in, and then I was like, oh shit, Jurassic Park, what is this?
Yeah, totally.
It was weird. I mean, it was I was 27 when I saw this movie, and it was weird, having grown up on Jurassic Park, but
it's
so that
still
was
weird
strange.
At 33, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's, I mean, I just rewatching it. I think we were rewatching it on the same Shudder account, but
we were definitely
yeah. But it's I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I did not know enough about this film to go into it. And the fact that it was in West Germany also threw me for a loop, and in English for some reason. Yeah, I don't know if I really have a good answer for that. I immediately could tell it was about Poland, even though it was in Germany. But I did afterwards start looking up. I was like, what is his connection to Germany? Why and the fact that it was in West Germany just felt so important. But knowing that he felt it was closest to Poland, and that he couldn't have shot in East Germany, West Germany was the option. And he does film it. Every location is next to the wall, and that was very important to the film. And it was really about Poland and communist Poland. It wasn't about Germany or anything that happened there. It was about communism in Poland. So I don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer for that. It was weird. It's a weird ass movie. Like, it's so weird. If you know any of these people, like Isabelle Adjani in any other movie, Sam Neill, if you grew up with Jurassic Park, it's strange. Knowing Żuławski's a Polish director and he's doing this in English in West Germany is really bizarre. The monsters are weird. Why the fuck is the kid's name Bob?
Yeah,
like, what a terrible, that's so German, but what a terrible name for a child. Like, are you like, I mean, I love Bobs. I have Bobs in my life, but like, Jesus. Every time Isabelle Adjani was like, "What about Bob?" I was like, "That's a different movie," but also like, this is like not a good child's name. Like, this is just I'm being taken out of the film.
This is the second horror movie I can think of that has Bob as a name for
What's
a
the
child.
other one?
House by the Cemetery.
Have I seen that?
You should.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, I'll put it on the list. But
it's one of Lucio Fulci's weirder films,
Oh, okay.
and the kid has this really he's very poorly dubbed. Actually, everyone is, but they're like Bob. It's.
I love that.
I almost feel like that's just like now a gateway to make a unsettling characters name a child Bob.
It's
Yeah.
One
One thing I wanted to ask you about, though, Josephine, since you have far more experience in Polish cinema than me or Eric, me and Eric were talking about that, but neither of us are that well versed in Polish cinema. You keep stating that this film is very Polish, and it's
oh my god, you can make me prove how it's Polish now?
No, I'm just curious where you're coming from with that. Teach me something, damn it.
Okay, so
Please.
The thing about Poland. I mean, there's so many things about Poland. I was like just talking about this week. So for like 100 years in Poland, there were so many armed conflicts that it like permanently, in the Polish region, it wasn't just Poland, it was just like the entire region. There were so many armed conflicts, meaning like military engagements between countries, between states, between whatever, like two villages, that it like permanently lowered the population's life expectancy for like generations. And I'm talking about World War II, I'm talking about before World War II. Like, it was just, this shit was just ongoing. This was like, I mean, we don't talk about the region, it's like a war-torn region, but like, it was fucked up. My great-grandfather was press ganged into two different sides of a conflict, like a couple years apart. So like, he was in one army, and then he was like, oh shit, I got away. And then like, they showed up at the bar like a couple years later, the other side, and they were like, you're back in the army, and like, now you're fighting them. That's what Poland was like for a lot of years. World War II obviously was a huge bummer for everyone involved, but especially Poland. And you see that in Polish art. Like, there's so much trauma in Poland, and so many people died, and it's also so repressed. Like, the Polish Catholicism I could go on about forever, but like, the way that this incredibly nationalistic country that didn't exist for a lot of European history as like an organized state, just more as an idea, the way that they also tie that to Catholicism, which is an incredibly repressive religion, like, sorry to all the Catholics that I know, and the Catholics who raised me, but like, you know, Poland has issues with gay people, has issues with women, has issues with people of color, like has issues with immigrants. Like, Poland is a really challenging place for anybody, and that like drips into every facet of the culture in a way that's like the only analogy I can think of is like our conversations about toxic masculinity in the United States. That's like everybody in Poland has toxic masculinity in a different way. So they're like, I don't know, like women hate other women, like gay people hate other gay people because they're too gay publicly. Like that's like been my experiences like with other Polish people, and like what you have to grow out of as like a Polish person. And on top of that, the government is like reinforcing all of that. So basically we're all just trauma babies who like are incredibly repressed by the government, but like Poland is really important as an idea and as a country and must exist. And so like you're constantly fighting that, like in your like the little Polish part of your brain. And I think that this movie is about Żuławski loves Poland because every Polish person does. It's like a very important thing. It should exist. We all love it. But it's like horrible to us as like a governmental entity. And, you know, we're kind of terrible to each other in a lot of ways, to generalize. So that's like my little anti-Polish rant. So I can't wait for like all of Poland to come for me. But like, that's like every film. Like, I mean, The Lure is about, which is a movie you were talking about earlier, Michael, by Agnieszka Smoczynska. That's about young girls being victimized by other people, but then also victimizing themselves and like really struggling against this culture that's very sexualized but can't be sexual up front, and nobody can get their needs met. Like that's what like Polish Roman Catholic culture feels like. And then you have the government like controlling everything really strictly, and things are different now. And the Polish they just had an election, and it is moving things forward quite a bit, and there's a lot of like positive in Poland. I was talking this week about like the labor history, which is they have some of the oldest labor conflicts in Europe, and they progress things very quickly in some ways. But I don't know, sorry, now I feel like I'm just rambling. But to be Polish is to suffer and then to eat a bunch of pierogies and like feel a lot better and happy again. So on this film, I mean, sausage, the sausage making in this movie, so fucking Polish. I'm also, so my grandmother's German, so like I felt this movie like twice. But like the fucking sausage making, like that is
that was weird.
It was okay, but that's like, I don't know, did you grow up, I don't know, Eric, what your background is, but did your like grandparents and parents have a sausage maker? Like,
no, like I've never experienced that one. But
okay, so like all of my family members like have this sausage maker. It's always a hand crank. You can get like the electric one, but like you have to work for your food and you have to suffer. So like you can't you gotta like crank it by hand.
Yeah.
And that's how you show the love, because the only way that you can show the love is by like making really flavorless Polish food. Sorry, this is like, I do love being Polish. But that scene was so good and so Polish because she is like trying to provide for both her households that she set up there. And she's doing it even though she doesn't fucking want to have one household. Like clearly she doesn't want to be like this role. And she's just like cramming this meat into this terrifying sausage grinder that we know in any other horror film is going to be like fingers and tongues, in any minute. The tension there was beautiful. It really felt like one of your family members yelling at you while they're making you dinner very aggressively. Like that was like a very core memory to me. And I think to a lot of viewers who have a similar background.
Yeah, that scene was interesting because everything you just said, but then I hadn't sunk in until just now, of just how much sadness just being done with everything. Because I hadn't thought of it until you just mentioned it. She's trying to provide for two different families. Mm-hmm. And I kind of forget about the other family being, this creature or whatever she's growing. Or we could talk about our theories on that because I'm still working through that. As being a separate family, because up until that subway scene and then when she leases out another apartment, I was still viewing that whenever she was talking about him or Mark would be like, you're with him, they'd always talk about this third person. In the film, it made me constantly just think it was Heinrich.
I think you were supposed to. I think it was a misdirect. But
and I hadn't kind of since I've only seen this the one time, probably watching this movie again, anytime they make reference to that, there's going to be this whole other weight to it because we don't know if it's Heinrich that she's claiming to be spending all her time with. We don't know. He doesn't know. Like Heinrich doesn't even know what she's up to, and just that exhausted feeling of that scene when Mark feels like he has this superior high ground to her, and she's just exhausted, doesn't want to make dinner but is going to, and just needs to supply food for this husband and this kid that she doesn't really want, so she can go then take care of this other creature that she also I don't know how she feels about the creature, but she just feels like she's stretched thin.
Yeah.
And it's just, like you said, it reminds me not necessarily of my direct family, but I've definitely been to like holiday get-togethers when there's someone who has been working the entire fucking night and just wants to be done, but also doesn't want to admit that and wants to still supply for people.
Have we watched The Bear? Has everyone watched The Bear?
No,
I was thinking of. I know which episode you're talking about.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Eric. If you choose to watch The Bear, which I think it's a great show, but it is incredibly stressful. I don't usually recommend it for people just because like if you have worked in a kitchen or like have any family trauma, it's like it's gonna bring you right back there. But Jamie Lee Curtis's performance is Isabelle Adjani making sausage for an hour. and it's incredible, and it's the most distressing thing I've ever watched, like more distressing than this film. But totally made me think of, like, that's what it is, right, Mike? It's like Christmas dinner when mom or grandma or auntie are like doing everything and, you know, won't accept help, isn't getting help, like, you know, it's...
But then complains that they're not getting help.
Yes. It's layers, right? It's like layers of things. But yeah, totally stressful.
Excuse me.
How long is this going to last?
Excuse me.
I'm talking to you.
Excuse me.
You don't have the right to behave this way. What have I done that you hate me so much? Huh? I deserve this?
No. Get off it.
Told you
Get
stop
off.
coming
Get
around.
off. Get off.
This is disgusting.
Yes.
Look what we've become.
Yes.
Talk to me. I don't want you to be like this. You know, when I'm away from you, I think of you as an animal or a woman possessed, and then I see you again, and all this disappears. You must try and help me. Tell me. Maybe you will help. Are you happy? Do you love him? Does he love you? Do you want to live together and have a family? And am I in your way, and Bob too? Then there's something else you must tell me. Why are you afraid to tell me? Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid I'll get mad again? Anna, help me.
Yeah, should we talk about the creature? I don't know, Eric.
Yes.
Eric, you're in charge of this podcast now.
I was
You're
gonna
hosting.
say, yeah, no.
What's next?
Well, even going back to kind of like, I feel like the accessibility of this film, the creature thing definitely has that body horror vibe to me, like almost like in a Cronenbergian way.
Yes.
So I feel like that's always something that people kind of respond to with this, is, you know, playing out more like a general horror film. But I was curious, and I wanted to ask you both, like, where you thought the origins of the creature, you know, like what do you think, where it came from? Because it's very like, I mean, I do feel like there is like kind of a loose answer to that, but it's also very ambiguous and kind of just shows up randomly too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like to answer that, you need to first figure out in your heart of hearts if you believe the creature's real or not.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Because if you don't think the creature's real, then she talks quite a bit about, you know, everyone talks quite a bit about religion and, you know, the idea of, I think she says faith and chance, I think are the two, like, that she's referencing. And if you believe the creature is not actually there and is not real, you know, it's an amalgamation of all these hard feelings and stress and just vileness that she's got built up inside of her that comes out as a proverbial creature. Now, if you believe the creature is real, which when the first time I watched it, I didn't even consider it. I didn't even consider a world in which the creature wasn't real, because when I'm watching a horror film, I assume everything that on screen is actually
Face
happening.
value.
Then I don't know. You know, it's one. You could still, because the creature, you don't see the creature ever before she has that scene in the subway. So you could argue the creature came from within her, but you know where? It's like some cosmic horror bullshit. Who knows?
Eric, what do you think? I'm curious.
I did think it was like a inception of, because like Mark was gone for a really long time. He's like a spy, so
yeah.
her relationship was pretty empty. So like in my mind, she had a lot of time to ruminate on things that she was disappointed about, or even the feelings of cheating on Mark with Heinrich. It's more of like a manifestation of all the stress and guilt, and then it kind of almost in a weird way was like sort of like a child that she admitted she wouldn't have had Bob with Mark. She would have rather had a child with Heinrich to possibly piss Mark off more. But like, yeah, essentially she's forming this thing too, or helping it form itself. So yeah, it kind of had this weird like child, like motherly, like, you know, like I need to finish what I started kind of thing with it. So,
which I think is fitting too, because I do think this film, I was discussing this with a colleague earlier, and like, I don't think it's a movie necessarily about gender roles. I think it's a movie about roles within a marriage. And I think that in order to be a wife, you need a husband. And in order to be a husband to provide for someone, you need that someone to be the wife who's doing something with what you're providing. And I think that she was trying to replace Mark role inside this role that she didn't even want, you know, as you can see in the sausage scene. And she, you know, fucks it up. Like the doppelgangers kill them because and they accept their predestined roles, which I also think is kind of a Polish. I mean, every culture has their like roles that you're jammed into, but the idea of homemaker provider is a very like postmodernist Polish thing in the culture. I just want to contextually, I mean, I think it's more fun if the creature's real. Like, I've never been a huge fan of the, like, it's in their head, like, unless it's going to be, like, a really major plot point. That's not, like, a shocking, like, ambiguous twist for me to, like, think about. I also think it's, like, sexier if it's real, because, like, those sex scenes were, like, sorry, those were hot. Like, that was good. That was well done. I was shocked. I was, like, ready to be disgusted, and I was like, oh, I'm, like, in public watching this? Okay.
Did this awaken something in you?
I mean, no, it was there, Mike. This was just a public display of something that was already latent within me. But to put it, you know, I love Slavic. I mean, I'm Slavic. I do like being Slavic as much as I just gave this like horrible anti-Polish rant earlier. That's gonna like get me canceled. I love Slavic folklore, and in Slavic folklore, one of the things I love is that the assigned women like roles aren't necessarily creators. They are nurturers, but they don't like give birth to monsters. That's a very like that's from other cultures. But they do discover things in the woods, or they nurture things that they find that they bring home with them, like a lost child or an egg that hatches into the perfect baby they just found somewhere. They're like, let's bring this home and like let's fucking make this into something, which is nuts. Don't do that. Like that's a horror film. But you know, I like to think she found this kid in the woods, this or this, you know, half-formed man type creature, and then had sex with it. Like that's really Slavic to me, and I love that. And I don't, you know, I don't think that it's from her. Like the idea of like bodily producing something is not like innately female in Slavic folklore. And I love like the idea that no, like she didn't like give birth to this. She like found something and then
like nurtured
it into what she thought she needed. And which I think she does find out it is not what she wanted or needed, but too late. Like Bob's shooting you, you know, which as he should. Like that kid, poor kid.
I mean, is it weird too? Like I could be totally misunderstanding this, but like it kind of felt like an odd gender roles thing that was being spoken to too, because you got this creature that's super horrific that produces another Sam Neill, which is kind of like the, you know, creator of Doom with the other version of Anna, who just so happens to be like a friendly school teacher, and it didn't come from a really gross place of murder and hate at all. Like
I love that. No, I actually do love that. I mean, I think there are gender roles in the film, right? But the other thing we talked about I was talking about with my coworker too, was that this film feels very anti his ex-wife, but not anti-women. Like it doesn't feel like deeply misogynistic. It just feels like he was real pissed at his wife.
Yeah, about the situation.
Totally. But like I think gender roles are definitely there, and again reinforce that like Polish Roman Catholic background. Like men are masculine and they're fighters, and they come from the trauma of war. You know, as much as I was talking about like the war-torn nature of that region, the women certainly went through it, but the men were the ones who were being sent to fight. So like that is their background, and the women survived, and they got shit done, and they brought in the harvest every year, and that was like a different kind of trauma, a different kind of issue. But yeah, certainly they're the friendly faces, the nice school teachers. I'm
just still thinking about what you said, that the movie feels like it's anti his ex-wife but not anti-woman, and now I'm just thinking, oh, Żuławski's thesis statement: women can't live with them, can't live without them.
We'll make a new one if we need to.
I mean, it is weird though, because like the character Anna, she does have a lot of power to her, especially that she's manipulating these men and also creating this weird fucked up thing that ends up kind of destroying humanity. Yeah. And I also think, I mean, that's not unique to Slavic like stories, but that's so not necessarily the manipulation, but definitely like creating and like pushing people to their limits. I'm really into Baba Yaga. Michael knows this, and that is Baba Yaga's role. And I won't say that Baba Yaga is like arch feminine in the way that like we would explore femininity in other fairy tales, but like she's a woman, she's a she, she's a witch, she's the devil, and she manipulates, but the way she manipulates brings out something very powerful in whoever she's interacting with. And whether that's like suicidal murderous rage that's going to get you fucked up and like end your life, she might nurture that, but she also might nurture incredible strength, and that is a like dark feminine power in Slavic mythology. And I love that. I love that it comes out here. I don't think he's like trying. I don't think he was like studying folklore and like trying to fit these things in. But I think it's something that we are raised with in those cultures. Sure.
That is trickling into the story. Certainly.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
From now on, she'll know how much right to sing, and she will. She's got in her to say, I can do as well. I can be better. I'm the best. Only in this case can she become success. Nobody taught me that. Well, that's why I'm with you. Because you say I for me. Because you say I for me.
I've still been sitting here ruminating about the doppelganger idea, because I thought it was such a bold, before we knew what this creature was to become. In the end, it's such a bold choice to cast Adjani as playing a different character in this. Like a kind of a polar opposite of Anna, and I've just been thinking about the ending quite a bit, where Mark and Anna are essentially killed by their newer selves.
They're newer and better.
Then they're better selves, I guess, as you said, and it almost has me think like it's such a dark ending, but in this very moment, I'm almost thinking, was Żuławski potentially hopeful for the future in that ending? You shed your former terrible self and become hopefully a better version of yourself afterwards.
Eric's shaking his head.
I was gonna say, I think like it kind of goes back to his personal experience with his divorce, where like the two doppelgangers kind of represent which either character thought was gonna be the best version of themselves, but even with those people meeting, it was still problematic, and it was never gonna work. Their relationship was never gonna be fixed. And then it kind of just went to the like almost the cartoonishly extreme of like hearing things crashing outside and like what feels like the world completely ending.
Yeah. No, I also want to say the use of doppelgangers here. So have you guys seen the Double Life of Veronique?
Yes, that's a great movie.
So that's Ukrainian. I can't remember. Czech.
I think it's Polish too.
It's a Polish director. I couldn't remember where it was actually made, but
I got you.
It is a Polish director because that was on my little list of Polish directors. But yeah, so that movie's about a doppelganger. And doppelgangers also show up in Żuławski's other movies. Tarkovsky, both Stalker and Solaris deal with doppelgangers. But in all of those movies and in traditional doppelganger lore, the doppelganger shows up either after the person who they look like and seem like died, or they've exited the story Or like in German folklore, a doppelganger exists at the same time as you, and they're gonna hunt you down and replace you. Like that's the fear. But in this film, doppelgangers are being created and then replaced, like kill and replace who they're supposed to, and that's very traditional to like the folklore. But in cinema, that was kind of a newer idea in like Slavic cinema to explore, because like Double Life of Veronique, she dies in the beginning, like partway through the movie, and then and then we follow the other the other doppelganger as the main character, and like that is very much more common. In Solaris, the wife is dead or she's gone, whatever, and then she starts showing up when the original wife has like left the picture. So this is a very different use of doppelganger in like Slavic cinema, and it's interesting, and it's very monster movie. Like this is a true horror film, which I love. That's all I have to say about that.
No, beautifully said. And one thing I have to say too, so we've talked quite a bit about, and we can start wrapping up shortly if we're running out of steam. But one thing that I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention. So we've talked quite a bit about just how crazy this movie can be. But I one thing I truly was not expecting was for it to. I was not expecting for it to become a full-blown action movie by the end.
Oh,
of this.
yeah.
Like out of all the surprising, out of all the surprising and jaw-dropping things that I've seen, that was still the one that felt like it came the most out of left field. Was not expecting especially for how cheap this movie was made, for it to have so many explosions. I was not expecting a full-out firefight. I was not expecting a really kind of beautiful chase up those wonderful stairs. I kind of forgot about that Mark was even a spy or something to do with the government until that moment when it became a James Bond film for some reason. And I just think that's kind of beautiful that there are movies still being made or there were movies being made once upon a time where just any whim that you had, just kind of threw it against the wall and see what stuck.
I mean, I think that's very Żuławski, but I also think that I think that ending also, it signaled the perfect death for Sam Neill's character, but it's idealized, right? It's like he was a spy, he came back, he seemed to have done a shitty job, like based on the meetings he was having, but now he gets this like great ending, like right, he gets this dramatic
second chance or whatever.
Yeah, the second chance at like being the spy, like a real spy, like a James Bond.
And the weird part too is also kind of being a protector of this creature, because there's like that point where he just like accepts he's like, oh this crazy thing is happening, you're saying you need to finish it, I'm gonna help you finish it for whatever reason, and kind of protected Anna's needs through the end of the film. Yeah, I mean, and he gets to go out a hero, right, for that reason. Totally, that's So I think it, it made sense. I don't think it was just like a random genre switch, but I think it was, and also if you do want to follow the, like, is the doppelganger real? Did that really happen? Or was he like mugged on the street and got shot? You know what I mean? Like that could easily be another portion where it's like, oh, like, this was made up. Like this was in his head. Yeah. Like dream state kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's also a theory. So when Bob, Bob drowns himself, unfortunately, in the film. Content warning, child death, like
very casually.
Should have content warned that. Yeah, it was bad. But there's a fan theory that like that chase scene is like his dying vision, about his father who was like missing up to the a heroic spy up to this point in his life, which that's interesting. I don't love it. The child death was superfluous to me.
It's interesting too, because I honestly didn't read that as a moment of suicide. I was thinking back to earlier in the movie when Mark and Bob were in the tub and Bob's just holding his breath, and at one point Bob asks him like, how long was that? And Mark wasn't even counting. He goes, oh, for a very long time. I figured it was his way of kind of hiding from the world. Because it was so casual the way he did it, to me it felt like his equivalent of hiding underneath the bed.
I thought that it was neglect. Like I mean, the Wikipedia like summary makes it sound like, oh yes, he killed himself, and I'm like, that's like how I don't know. That just reads as really fucked up. Like, we're not going to accept the fact that we neglected this child to death. He gallantly killed himself instead. I don't know. It was a really fucked up thing to read, but it was like it just seemed like neglect. Like he just accidentally drowned in the bathtub. You know,
and that I could believe more. Like maybe it started off the way that I thought, and then he just didn't come back up for air.
Exactly. Exactly.
I didn't view it as like
he can't handle this anymore, so he's ending it. Which like is that one of them is like making him responsible for the tragic end and making his shitty ass parents responsible, and I think the second one is true. Like his parents sucked. Poor Bob. And his babysitter, like, what the fuck was she, like, babysitter / Sam's, like, booty call, like, Sam being Sam Neill, sorry, Mark. Yeah, Anna, like, what? You're not even a good doppelganger, you suck at this. Like, you're supposed to be the better one, you're supposed to be the perfect one, and this child's dead. I wouldn't hire her as babysitter, personally. I don't have kids, but, you know, if I did. She's not who I would choose.
No, I feel like you could find a service that would do better than that.
I hope so.
All right.
Will they look like my ex-wife?
Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about with possession before we move on to our Thrill House moment of the episode?
I do have one minor thing I just want to talk about. We don't need to dive into it deep because it's talking about a whole another movie. But have either of you seen The Untamed?
No, but you told me about it earlier today.
Because Andre,
I think you have, Josephine, because you rated it on Letterboxd.
I love that you. I'm looking it up right now. 1 minute. Wait, why? This is like a Chinese movie. Who directed it? I'm googling it.
It was I think a Mexican film, if I'm not mistaken.
The one I looked up was I think I had a Polish name.
Oh my god, I know The Untamed. No, yes, holy shit, yes. Continue. Sorry, I like really bad with titles.
I was just gonna say it's it was a directly like credited, like influenced by this film, and that's kind of like, I guess, as far as I wanted to go with it, but kind of interesting too in its own way.
You don't want me to like talk in depth about tentacle stuff?
There's a lot of that in that one. It just goes for it. Go. It goes for it in that one for sure.
Oh man, that movie is so good and has the exact same. We're getting into it, Eric. Sorry, we're gonna go into it. We're getting deep. It has the exact same tension to me because, like, so with the sausage scene in Possession and so many of the scenes in this film, you know something horrifying is about to happen and you're, like, waiting for it to happen on screen, right? And it doesn't. Like, her fingers never go into the sausage, not really, into the grinder. You know, not really. Not like, accidentally. And then in The Untamed, like, you see this, like, you know that people get hurt, but you don't see it. You don't really see the, like, sex, like, you see parts of it, but, like, it's not the same. There's always, like, a good lead in to where you know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
But you're expecting it to just be, like, fucking, like, you're like waiting for something so horrifying to happen that you're never gonna forget it and you'll be, like, awake thinking about it, and it never really happens. And that's
there is
so
that
well
one
done.
moment at least.
Well, no, there are moments. Sorry, but it just the lead ups.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the tension, like it never releases the tension. Like
there's a lot of weird moments too that kind of go unanswered, which is interesting in it too.
Totally, no, 100%. I love that. And you also have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, in Possession, as much as we know, okay, this is about a marriage, like, we don't know, like, who was he spying for? Like, what was his actual job? Why are they after him? Like, who is the neighbor lady who he sleeps with and clearly, like, was also Anna's best friend? Like, what is the deal there? Yeah. And in The Untamed, it's like, who is this couple? Where did this creature actually come from? Like, what the, you know, why was the first instinct of all these people to have sex with it? Like, so many unanswered questions that they're just like, we're not gonna, that's not what this movie's about. We're not about answering questions here. We're about getting you to watch some fucked up shit and feeling really tense.
Yeah, another weird one for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last thing I'm going to ask before
that was a great lead-in. Sorry, Mike. Sorry to ruin that film for you. People have
no. If anything, you maybe want to watch it more. So
it's very adjacent to this whole thing.
Yeah,
too, which is
it's gross.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Do you have Josephine? This question is specifically for you, since you are a fan of Polish cinema. Before we wrap up with our Thrill House moment, is there any Polish films you recommend people should see if they want to get more into Polish films?
Well,
I know you'd recommended some on Instagram.
That's a good question.
I know. I just did a whole thing. So one thing you should know about me that I'm just gonna put into this podcast, since I'm already on this anti-Polish stint. Fuck Roman Polanski. He is not the second coming in Polish cinema. He did a couple of movies that were cool and important, but fuck him. Fuck him. There's so many other directors. And whenever you talk to someone at Polish cinema, they're like, oh shit, we should let Roman Polanski come home. And I'm like, no, we shouldn't. We should throw his ass in jail. But that's my first thing. So fuck Roman Polanski, hate that guy, whatever. That being said, Andrzej Wada, who is the person who brought up Żuławski. He was the person who taught Żuławski how to make films and taught a lot of his generation how to make cinema. That is the father of Polish cinema, modern Polish cinema. So that's where you got to start. Agnieszka Holland was another person who was brought up under Wada. She actually worked on Treme, the TV show.
Oh, sure.
So that was her introduction into the United States television, but she also got banned in Poland for a film that she made criticizing the lack of social programs in communist Poland. It was about a woman and her son living on the train tracks, essentially, not being cared for and having really fucked up things happen to them. So Holland, she's great. But I'm also just going to recommend Martin Wrona's Demon. That's a Polish film that was incredible and is about, I think, really embodies...
Oh, is that the wedding one?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's cool.
So good, and it really embodies a growing sense in modern Polish cinema of mutual culpability within communities. That movie's about guilt and about community failures and murder. And delves into some very difficult stuff, and there's a really tragic backstory to it with the director and just the making of the film. And I love that film. I've rewatched it a couple of times, but I think it really taps into something. As much as I was very down on my Polish identity, one thing that is happening now is this real conversation about how mutually culpable everyone is. The shitty Polish government didn't just happen to everyone. We installed it and we supported it. These very repressive ideas we're enforcing and pushing on our children. That's a real conversation in Polish art right now. And then of course Agnieszka Smoczynska, she of course did The Lure, which is fantastic. She also did a short in the HBO series Field Guide to Horror. I think it was HBO, maybe it was Hulu, but whatever. She has a little short in there. It's about Polish vampires, which is an obsession of mine. So yeah, that's where you start. All right, there you go.
That's your homework, everyone.
There you go. Good luck looking up and spelling any of those names. R.I.P.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Because I'm going to have to do some research myself when I cut this together so I can try to write those names down.
I can give you spellings.
Perfect. All right. So as is customary when I remember to do it on this show, we do something called the Thrill House moment, which is your lock-in moment, the moment that best to your ability when you first saw it, or that kind of sold you that, I'm into this movie. It can be something small, it can be something big, whatever your moment was. Josephine, let's start with you.
It's that sausage making scene. That was it. The movie. So the movie is about a marriage failing. My parents are divorced. I've been in failing relationships. I watched this movie and I was like, God, it's 2 hours long. Do I really want to sit through this fucking rewatch the failure of another relationship? But that sausage scene, that was it. I was like, oh, this is bringing that the real tension. Loved it.
No, that's perfect. How about you, Eric? Do you have one?
I was probably even more easily drawn in. That first phone conversation between Mark and Anna just really hooks me. Because already there's so much tension, and then probably just got even more solidified when they finally met up in person for the first time and hashed that all out at the cafe.
Yeah, I would say for me it's My instinct to say the cafe scene, but I actually think it might be Mark's bender.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
But then, not the scene itself, but more so the aftermath of when he goes back to the apartment and realizes that
Bob's been alone.
Bob's been alone, and he should probably do something about it. And he stops being selfish about it long enough to try to take care of that fucking kid.
Yeah.
That scene was from Żuławski's life. The jam scene with the child.
I read that, yes.
That was something that he supposedly really came home, and his ex-wife, wife at that time, was out somewhere and had left their child, and he came home to his child smeared in jam because like they had been trying to feed themselves. That was Xavier, his son. Fucked up. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because from that moment, and then the scene that follows with him and Adjani, you know, when he's just crazily rocking in that chair where I thought he was going to flip himself. He has a different, I don't want to say lease on life because that gives him way too much credit, but he has a different perspective where he's not completely giving up. He's trying.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, trying for his son.
Yeah. But he's a shitty dad. Sorry, man. He tried, but...
Oh, I'm not arguing that at all. Yeah. He is. They are not good parents, and he is not a good dad.
Parents.
No. But and then this is just a moment that made me laugh. The first time the neighbor lady walked up and you saw the cast and just her trying to walk with that cast on.
Such a good detail. Such a weird, good detail.
I loved it because it's like I want to know more about that detail.
I also love the first introduction of Heinrich and how good he was at martial arts.
Yes.
Oh my god, he's like proto like stepdad who's better than you. Like that was I mean, like absolute like trope. Like, oh, he's like bought your son a boat and is good at martial arts and like is well dressed.
You know who that character reminded me of? Has anyone here seen The Money Pit?
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Alexander Goodenough plays a character that is pretty much Heinrich, but in a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Their way they perform the role is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it's if you just took a Heinrich and put him in a comedy with Tom Hanks, that is exactly
That's the film.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of like the 80s and 90s, like Mrs. Doubtfire, like you know, the better stepdad. That's like such a trope from that era. Whereas stepmothers are evil, but the stepdad is like the provider, the fun guy, etc.
I love that your point of reference was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
gotta get the
their stepdad was James Bond, of course.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, stepdads rule. As someone with like an excellent stepfather, hell yeah, Heinrich, Team Heinrich. Poor Heinrich too. God.
Yeah.
Nobody in that movie was okay. Like,
and Heinrich's mother. Heinrich's mother just like she knew that he was not. He was a piece of shit, but he was her piece of shit.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say before I wrap up for real this time, the line that just lives rent free in my brain, was when Mark confronted Heinrich and he's like, "Is your mother here when you're fucking my wife?" And he goes, "Of course."
Yeah.
Like, where else would she be?
That also, I mean, not to be like everything in this movie is so fucking Slavic, but like, where's she gonna go? Like, you live with your mom until you're married, and after that, because then you need someone to take care of her. Yeah. She makes
I don't really have a favorite character, but Heinrich would be my favorite character if I had one. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining in. Before I end this, is there anything you want to tell people about, that you want to pitch or talk about again before we wrap up? Anything going on in your professional lives that you're excited about?
I hear like professional lives. I was like, well, I have a new hobby.
What's your hobby?
No, I don't really. It was a lie. I don't have hobbies. All I do is write.
You make soup too.
Yeah, I make soup.
I follow your Instagram.
Borscht. It's borscht weather. So good.
I've never had borscht. I'm gonna have to come over sometime and try it.
I'll make you some borscht. I'll make you some bigos. Hunter stew. I make it with mushrooms,
sounds
though,
great.
because I'm like a mushroom hunter, because I'm vegan. But that's the other thing. Vegan Poland, like, doesn't exist. It's hard. It's hard out here. Like, not eating pig, like, you can not eat any meat, but pig, like, you're not Polish anymore. You're done. You're done-ski.
How about you, Eric? Anything you got?
Nah, I mean, just living life, man. But, I mean, I really appreciated being able to hang out and talk about this with you both.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Well,
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you both for coming on. At this point, everyone should know where to find me and find the show. Keep your eyes peeled to our Patreon, which I'm really bad about updating, but me and Amanda will be doing a new episode of Cage is the Rage, which is where me and Amanda are slowly working through Nicolas Cage's entire filmography in chronological order. And we're going to be watching a weird Canadian film starring him early in his career where he is like a rower on a college team, and he is absolutely ripped in that movie. It's called The Boy in Blue.
Ripped.
So yeah, so even more ripped than Moonlight.
Oh my.
Yeah, it is, and it's before he got his teeth fixed, so it's like peak Cage for me.
That's fantastic.
All right, well, thanks for listening, guys. Have a good night.
The Shameless Picture Show is recorded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Easton, Maryland, and is hosted and produced by Nick Richards and Michael Vyers. Today's episode was edited by Michael Vyers. Our opening theme music was written especially for us by The Directionals, with narration by Zach McLean. The end credit music you're enjoying at the moment was generously provided by my friends in the band 10 Speed. The Shameless graphic design is masterfully done by Amanda Vyers. An extra special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and to our generous sponsors. We are on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Google Play, and Libsyn. You can find links for all these amazing people in the description below.